Hey everyone, welcome back. So, as we take in the new year, we often pick up a new skill, right? Today we're going to introduce the possibility of swimming. I mean, it's never too late to learn and be safe when the summer comes around. So, our next guest is a Bronx native entrepreneur, founder of Seasonal Healthy Habits Collective, and assistant coach of the Riverbank Redtails Swim Club. She's encouraging seasonal habits through swimming as a practice. And joining us to share more, we welcome Riverbank Redtails Swim Club assistant coach, Janice Saunders. Hello and welcome.
Hello, Rhina, and thank you so much for highlighting swimming as a healthy habit. It's one that we can start young and continue into our later years. And that's one of the reasons that I feel that people should go out there and really get into swimming at any age.
What I really love about this segment is that here we are in January, and this is I want to say an activity that would normally be introduced as we get closer to the hotter days. And so, what is it about swimming that you feel should be exercised all year round?
Well, swimming, there's two parts of swimming. There's number one, learning to swim. Learning to swim is a life skill. And I think that is one that we all should know. We can save ourselves. And that's what we need to be able to do, in the water. That's the first thing with swimming. And the second thing is, being a competitive swimmer. I mean, I started swimming at Kips Bay Boys Club in the 70s, and all my Bronx people know where it is, right? And Kips Bay taught me life skills, and swimming competitively was one of them. I mean, you learn a new skill, you practice it, and you can chart your progress. And that's competitive swimming.
And so you've been competing in swimming since the 70s?
That's right. I've been competing in swimming since the 70s. I mean, I was a competitive swimmer at Evander Childs High School in the Bronx, a city champion. I got a partial scholarship to Howard, got injured, but I still swim. I mean, for my 55th birthday, I'm swimming 55 laps with my swim team, because I want them to know the joy of swimming, how I feel about swimming. You don't have to be in a triathlon to take advantage of what swimming can do for you. I mean, there's a society out here that feels that everything's got to be so intense, and you've got to, do the biggest thing. You've got to, swim 40 miles or something. I actually interviewed a woman for the Seasonal Sisters podcast who is a triathlete who swims a race in Florida that's an 8-mile open water race.
Oh my God.
I was amazed. And I thought to myself, could I train for something like that? And I probably could, but right now where I am today, I'm swimming my 55 laps, and I'm so excited about it. And I want everyone to get excited about what they can do where they are today.
I love that.
Right.
I love that. Right. Because even though you're a competitive swimmer, you also have a relationship to your body, and you also have a relationship to your mind. And so you're really about like, look, this is my lifestyle, and this is what I'm going to do. This is how I'm going to, I guess, inspire people to want to do it too. As you mentioned, you have your whole swim team joining you. So what does that look like, the swim team? How many of you are there? What are the age brackets? And what does 55 laps of a whole bunch of people swimming look like?
Well, the Riverbank Redtails has been, I'm an assistant coach there under the tutelage of Danny Trinidad, and he has started this program in the 90s, and we've been together for decades at motivating young people to stay connected to health. Number one, we've had people compete as high a level as in international meets. We've had people competing in junior nationals, city championships. What we do at the Riverbank Redtails is so special. We recognize these young people's accomplishments from the time that they're 8 and unders until they get accepted to college. And what's great is that these are young people that are getting accepted to college, and the access that we make to them to high standards in their swimming achievement, in their academic achievement, in their character and integrity is bar none. Because those are life skills. You know,
Right.
how you do one thing is how you do everything. You know, so
Absolutely, especially when you're being challenged, because that's how you up the game, right? The last place you ever want to be is in a comfortable place. I know everybody thinks they want to be there, but that's not the place you want to grow. No, well, that's not the place you're gonna grow, we'll say.
that's
And
right. And swimming promotes a growth mindset
right,
because these young people are learning new skills, the slightest new skills every day. I mean, for example, one of the young ladies said to me, well, you're going to do a set on 55 seconds. That's what we're going to do because you're going to be 55. And I said to myself, let me see if I can do that. And let me train for that. And I'll let you know if we can do it, you know.
right,
And
right,
I've trained them to be able to do the set also. So these are our younger, these aren't our senior swimmers that I'm going to be swimming
right.
with. These are our middle level swimmers.
Oh
And it's
my,
great. They're excited about it. And that's part of the reason I decided to do this is so to get them more excited about swimming, you
right.
know?
And to make it a lifelong practice. And
Yes,
not only that, that keeps you young. I know that has to keep you young being in that energy
it
field of
does.
like I'm competing with the youngins.
I don't normally do this. This is a
Right,
special occasion, but
right.
it is a lot of fun though. I mean, it's been fun talking about it with them. It's been fun sharing it with my seasonal sisters in the group that I'm with that I founded, where we talk about normalizing healthy habits and starting where we are. And I'm not ready for a 4-mile swim in the ocean.
Right.
What I'm ready for right now is 55 laps with some kids, you
That's
know,
awesome.
that I can inspire. I'm ready for walking around my block a couple extra times before I come in each evening, you know, to stave off that type 2, that hemoglobin A1C from going up and up and up. So
Got it.
we've got to be where we are.
Right. I like that. I like that, and I like the way you're presenting it. And I just want to just make sure that whomever's watching understands that you've chosen to do this with your swim team, but you also have this collective of seasonal sisters. So let's talk a little bit about seasonal sisters and how you all engage, right? Because you are the swimmer. Is everyone else a swimmer? Like, what does that look like when you guys are speaking about your healthy habits?
Well, the Seasonal Sisters Healthy Habits Collective is separate from swimming.
Right.
We work seasonally. Right now, we're in the winter season, and it's a weekly coaching group. We talk about how we can prioritize health each season. What habits can we sandwich together to make us healthier? I have a system called the Seasonal Sisters Success System that really makes it easy for everyone to add healthy habits each day. Because the more healthy habits we add, the better we start feeling. Because everybody values health, right? But sometimes our actions don't necessarily equal what we value. And what we do in the Seasonal Sisters Healthy Habits Collective that's so transformative is help our actions meet what we value. And that just makes us feel great. That can leave you feeling vibrant like you wouldn't believe.
Well, yeah, I know there's also the accountability, right? And then
Yes,
there's also the gentleness, right? Because what I'm picking up from you is this gentle, kind way of dealing with self versus, my New Year's resolution, I'm going to go hit the gym and I'm going to be at the gym for 20 minutes. And instead, it's more of like, well, where am I at this
right.
particular time of my life? And what
That's right.
can I do to just implement it into my lifestyle without making it a task or overbearing task that now I'm going to become resentful of committing to because it
And
happens.
look what happens to New Year's resolutions. I think people quit their New Year's resolutions on average in 19 days. That's not something that we're about. What Seasonal Sisters are about lifelong habits. One of the women that I interviewed for the Seasonal Sisters podcast, she said, you know, Seasonal Sisters is not a profile. It's not about profiling. It's about a lifestyle.
Right.
And it is a lifestyle because everyone's seasonal healthy habits are going to be different. But what we encourage is experimentation.
Got
Experimentation with activity, experimentation with seasonal foods, because we know that, everyone's diet, we've had how many years of the diet that we have? You're not going to change that in an overnight, but
Right,
it's such a part of the equation that helps our bodies feel better, you
right.
know.
Yeah. So before we go, just because we keep addressing the word seasonal, I'm curious to know if there's been any research done on the way we feel during certain seasons, throughout the seasons, the 4 seasons of the year. I mean, especially for us being New Yorkers, we actually feel the difference.
Yes,
And it does, it shifts the way we think, it shifts the way we feel, it shifts the way we move.
yeah.
What have you, I guess, shared and or have learned even in your exchanges about the 4 seasons and how one should even tend to themselves in a forgiving manner. There's something about you that reads like, you know what, it's okay, it's just a matter, it really starts with the awareness.
Yes, it does, because seasonal sister is about being more mindful of ourselves and more prepared and more consistent with adding healthy habits. But to answer your question, I think everyone listening and who's watching is aware that there is something called seasonal affective disorder. And that's people who get negatively affected by the decrease in light, and usually happens in the winter season. That is something that we know, and people have an uptick of what they do and how bouncy they feel in the summer, because there's more light, people are out doing more activity. So, I mean, I think that that's out there in the literature that people are very aware of. But what else is interesting is that we change everything in our life, with the seasons. We change our lip color, we change our hair color, we change our clothes, especially in the Northeast where we are, really affected by seasons. We can also give ourselves a fresh start each season with new healthy habits, new foods, and new activity, because we can do different things each season.
I like that. And thank you for bringing in the awareness of the seasonal affective disorder, which, you guys, an acronym that spells the word sad, you know?
Yes.
Yeah. And as an acronym, I'm saying, so there's a definition behind that acronym.
Mhm.
So you might want to look into it further. And thank you for bringing it up, because I think it definitely is something that one should just be aware of. And I love the conversation that we're having regarding the fact that yeah, the seasons impact us. We're part of nature as well, and there shouldn't be any feeling of guilt in tending to yourself, because that's the other part. The other part is finding that time to take care of you.
Yes, it's not easy. It's easier said than done. And as a single working mother, I know everybody's challenge. I'm there right with you. Some days I'm all in, and then other days I gotta, I don't get as much done as I'd like to do. And the conversation that you have with yourself is the most important conversation that exists. And if that conversation is tough and rough, then that's going to not lead to you being able to continue. And that starts early on. I have that conversation with my swimmers as their coach. The conversation is tough and rough, you're not going to be able to excel. Sometimes we don't have a great day, we still have to do what we have to do, so it helps to be more compassionate, for sure, on ourselves. I mean, I don't know about you, Rena, but I can be hard on myself sometimes.
That's what I'm saying,
Yeah.
and put ourselves, I say, sometimes that's the one that gets put on the shelf when other matters present themselves. It's kind of like, oh, I got to take care of this, when in fact, you got to be good. You have to be well before you can handle anything else. And that's the priority. And so I'm just encouraging people to step into their new year, making themselves
Yeah.
a priority.
Yeah, and follow me on Instagram and see what's going on. And if you're interested in the Seasonal Healthy Habits Collective, because it's a warm and cozy group.
Yeah,
Nobody's hitting anybody over the head with anything. However, your intentions are honored. Like right where you are, your intentions.
That's beautiful.
That's the important thing to be aware of.
I agree. I agree. Thank you for sharing your words of wisdom. Seasonal sister, Janice Saunders, I want to bid you a happy, happy, happy birthday. And I'm wishing you the best of luck on your 55 laps.
Thank you, Rhina. Thank you so much for having me. I look forward to getting to know you better.
Thank you again, Janice Saunders, Riverbank Redtails Swim Club Assistant Coach. If you guys are interested in signing up for the Riverbank Redtails Swim Team, you can DM her at The Real Janice Saunders. And if you're interested in Seasonal Sisters, you can visit them at yourseasonalsister.com. All right, we have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll speak to creators, Rebuild New York artists to discuss their new upcoming project. Don't go anywhere.